What's up YouTube, it's Yugioh God 1000 here, bringing you episode 2 of Yugioh discussion. Now, when you're making a deck, you need to keep in mind staples. Now, what we mean by staples is spells and traps that work well in any deck. So, things like Monster Reborn, Dark Hole and Heavy Storm are staples in every deck. Now I'm just going to go through some spell and trap staples that you should really consider when making a deck. So for all those beginners out there, this video will be really useful for you. And for all those experienced players, it's also give you an idea of what I think are good staples. So, first two staples are Fiendish Chain. Now, Fiendish Chain is a continuous trap card that negates a monster's effects, right? And they cannot attack. So you activate it, target them, and then they cannot attack or activate their effects. So it's really good to stall, and yeah, it saves you really. Next staples are Bottomless Trap Hole. Now this is probably the best trap hole in the game. When a monster / monsters special summoned with 1500 or more attack, destroy that monster and banish it. So if you're against Rescue Rabbit and they activate their effect, special summon 2 dinosaurs, and then you activate Bottomless Trap Hole, they both get banished, destroyed and then banished. So it's very essential if you run a trap lineup. Next, Dimensional Prison. So this is a very good staple as well. It's all about removal. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, activate Dimensional Prison and you banish that target. So this protects your monsters and it also removes their big monsters out of play, so you don't have to worry about them anymore. So very key. Next is Compulsory Evacuation Device. Now this card returns one monster your opponent controls to the hand, and it can also be used on extra deck cards. So if your opponent exceeds or synchro summons, you just bounce that back to the extra deck. Very awesome card. Next we have the Solemns. So you have one Solemn Judgment and one Solemn Warning. So this can Solemn Judgment can negate a monster summon or a spell or trap card activation by paying half your life points. So it's very crucial in late game moment. And Solemn Warning early game is also very good. Pay 2000 life points to negate the summon of a monster or the effect of a spell, trap or effect monster's effect that is going to special summon. So this can pay 2000 life points to negate Monster Reborn or a strong monster that could really stuff you up, so it's very handy. So you must play one of each. So they're the two Solemns. Then we have a Torrential. So this card, when a monster is summoned, destroy all cards on the field. So one is enough in your deck, but I mean, it depends on how you like your play style. You might want to run 2. But I recommend running 1. And also what you can run 1 of is Mirror Force. So this is a very good trap card. When your opponent monster declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So it pretty much reflects the attack and destroys all monsters your opponent controls. So then we have a Magic Cylinder, which negates your monster's attack and deals damage equal to the original monster's attack to your opponent. So it's as though they're receiving the damage. So that's really handy. We got Call the Haunted, so it's a continuous trap that can just special summon a monster from your grave. So good in some decks, but not one of the best staples, but still a good card. We got Dark Bribe, so that negates a spell or trap card activation, but your opponent gets to draw 1 card. So it's very handy against Heavy Storm or Dark Hole, and the only cost is your opponent gets to draw a card. So to protect all our traps, we need either the Huge Revolution is Over or a Starlight Road. So these cards, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated that destroys 2 or more cards on the field for Huge Revolution is Over, or 2 or more cards you control, Starlight Road, negate the activation and Starlight Road destroys it, the Huge Revolution is Over banishes it, and Starlight Road, then you can special summon 1 Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. So we need protection if we're playing this much traps. It's a format where traps are really necessary. So you need either one Starlight Road, one Huge Evolution, or if you want real protection, you could run two of any of those. So that's it for the traps, and rounding it off with the Starlight Road for good protection, which is essential. Then onto our spells. So with all that back row, we have to play Mystical Space Typhoons. Now most decks run 3, and at the moment that's a fair call, running 3, but I mean if you're pushed for room, then 2 is perfectly fine, but probably not 1, just knowing how much back row your opponent will use. So yeah, I recommend 2. So next we have the one of Book of Moon. So this card just flips one of your opponent's monsters face down. It's so versatile, this card. Right, if they've got a high attack monster, then you just flip it face down. Or they're going to use their effect, you flip it face down. So very versatile card, Book of Moon. That's why it's limited. Now, for any Yugioh deck or Stole deck, Final Countdown, 1 day of peace. So both players draw 1 card, and then neither player takes damage until the end phase of your opponent's next turn. So it's been brought down to 1 after Yugioh has been using it and abusing it at 3. So it's her Yugioh decks, but they had that coming to them, because not many people like versing Yugioh. So it's been brought down to 1. So if you're ever going to play Yugioh, yeah, 1 day of peace is essential. Also, to any deck that runs dark monsters or is dark orientated, Allure of Darkness is an excellent card. So you draw 2 cards and then you banish a dark monster from your hand. But if you have no dark monsters, you have to discard your whole hand to the grave. Now, you do not risk using this if you have no darks in your hand, but if you have a dark that you're willing to banish, it speeds up the deck so good. Like drawing 2 and then banishing a dark, it's not that big of a deal, and yeah, just so much speed. You have to play it in a dark deck. Now, essential for any machine deck is, yep, you guessed it, limiter removal. So this card doubles the attack of all face-up machine type monsters, and destroys them during the end phase. And because it's a quick play card, you can attack your opponent directly. Then, during damage calculation, you activate limiter removal, which means your opponent can't do anything because it's in damage step, and they take a lot of damage. Easily wins games. And the 3 stables that everyone knows of: Monster Reborn, okay, so you can just special summon 1 monster from either player's graveyard. Heavy Storm, destroy all spell or trap cards on the field. And the most iconic, Dark Hole, destroy all monsters on the field. So that rounds it up for the staples, guys. Now remember that you don't have to run all of these, but I recommend running most of them, especially the D-Prisons, the Bottomlesses, and the Compulsors. So that rounds it up for today. And just remember, when you're making a deck, to be wary of what protection you need from all the traps, and also what cards can also help. So thanks for watching, guys. Yugioh God 1000 signing off.